I'm sitting in Robert Chen's corner office, watching him tap his pen against the mahogany desk. My heart races as I wait for him to speak. Behind him, floor-to-ceiling windows showcase the city skyline. I've been called in without warning, and something feels wrong. "James," he finally says, not meeting my eyes. "We're letting you go." The words hit me like a punch. I blink, confused. "What?" "Robert, the quantum tech deal closes in 3 days. I've spent 2 years building that relationship." He waves dismissively. "Derek will handle the closing. We feel he's better suited for this level of client management." Derek Martinez. The guy who's been here 6 months and barely knows our product line. My hands grip the armrests. "I negotiated every term," I say, voice shaking. "I flew to Tokyo 8 times. They trust me." Robert finally looks at me, and I see something cold in his expression. "The decision is final. Clean out your desk by noon. Security will escort you out." I stand on shaky legs, my mind racing. 2 years of work. My deal. My client relationship. As I reach the door, I hear Derek's voice in the hallway, laughing nervously with someone. They think they've won. They have no idea what's coming. I'm driving home in a daze, replaying the conversation. My phone keeps buzzing with messages from coworkers who've already heard the news. I ignore them all. 2 years ago, I joined TechBridge Solutions as their VP of Strategic Partnerships. Robert promised me autonomy, growth, recognition. Instead, I got late nights, stolen credit, and now this, fired 3 days before my biggest win. The quantum tech deal started small. Robert wanted me to pursue a $5 million software licensing contract. Standard stuff. But when I met with their CEO, Kenji Yamamoto, I saw something bigger. They weren't just looking for software. They were planning a complete digital transformation. So I pitched bigger. Way bigger. I spent weekends researching their needs. I brought in our best engineers for demos. I flew to Tokyo on my own dime when the budget ran out. And slowly, that $5 million contract became $500 million, a 5-year partnership that would transform both companies. Robert was thrilled at first. Then I noticed the shift. He started taking credit in board meetings. Started bringing Derek to calls. Started pushing me to the sidelines. Now I understand why. He never wanted me to close it. He wanted to steal it. That night, I sit in my home office, staring at my laptop. My wife Sarah brings me coffee, her face worried. "They can't just do this," she says softly. "You built that deal from nothing." "They just did." I pull up the contract files on my personal cloud drive. Everything I've worked on for 2 years, proposals, negotiations, strategy documents. I saved copies of everything, a habit from a previous job where a colleague got screwed over. Then I see the email. It arrived an hour ago, while I was driving home in shock. It's from Kenji Yamamoto himself. "James, urgent matter. Please call me immediately. Do not include TechBridge on this call." My heart pounds. I check the timestamp. Sent 30 minutes after Robert fired me. Kenji wants to talk. Privately. Away from TechBridge. I look at Sarah. Something's happening. "What do you mean?" I turn the laptop toward her, showing her the email. "I think Kenji knows they fired me. And I don't think he's happy about it." She reads it, eyes widening. "Are you going to call him?" I glance at the clock. It's 3 a.m. in Tokyo. I'll have to wait. But something tells me this isn't over. Not by a long shot. I barely sleep. At 6 a.m., which is 7 p.m. Tokyo time, I dial Kenji's private number. He answers on the first ring. "James," he says, voice tight with controlled anger. "I received a very strange call today from Robert Chen. He informed me you're no longer with TechBridge, and someone named Derek will handle our partnership." I take a breath. "That's correct. I was let go this morning. Without informing us? 3 days before signing. I was as surprised as you are." Kenji is silent for a moment. Then, "James, I want to be very clear. We did not build this partnership with TechBridge. We built it with you. Your vision, your understanding of our needs, your commitment, that is what convinced our board to approve $500 million. My throat tightens. "I appreciate that, Kenji, but..." "We are not signing with TechBridge," he interrupts firmly. "Not without you." The room spins. "What?" "Our legal team is reviewing the contracts. We have 48 hours to withdraw before penalties apply. And James, we are strongly considering that option unless you are reinstated." I lean back, stunned. Robert fired me to steal my deal, but he might have just killed the deal entirely. "What do you need from me?" I ask carefully. "I need to know your plans. Where you're going next." I pause. I don't have plans yet. This happened 6 hours ago. Then I suggest, Kenji says slowly, you make some plans. Quickly. I spend the next 2 hours on the phone with my attorney, Michael Torres. He's been my friend since law school, and right now I need his sharp mind. Did you sign a non-compete? He asks. Yes, but it's narrow. I can't work for direct competitors for 1 year. But I can start my own consulting firm. And the quantum tech relationship? I choose my words carefully. I built it on my own time, mostly. I used personal funds for several trips when TechBridge's budget ran dry. The relationship is mine. Michael is quiet, thinking. If Quantum Tech refuses to sign with TechBridge and approaches you independently as a consultant, that's their choice. You're not soliciting them, they're soliciting you. But Robert will fight this. Let him. If he fired you before the deal closed, he lost his leverage. And if Quantum Tech has legitimate concerns about working with someone other than you, that's a business decision, not a legal violation. After we hang up, I sit in silence. An idea is forming. A crazy, risky, possibly brilliant idea. I open my laptop and start drafting a business plan. By midnight, I have the outline for something I'm calling Atlas Strategic Partners, a consulting firm specializing in complex international partnerships. By 2 a.m., I've filed the LLC paperwork. By 4 a.m., I have a basic website. By dawn, I'm ready to call Kenji back. Kenji answers immediately. James, I was hoping to hear from you. I have a proposition, I say. I've just launched a consulting firm. If Quantum Tech is uncomfortable moving forward with TechBridge given the circumstances, I can offer independent consulting services to facilitate the partnership you need. Interesting. Tell me more. I lay out my plan. Atlas Strategic Partners would act as an intermediary, managing the implementation and integration that Quantum Tech needs. They could still work with TechBridge for the core software, but I'd handle the strategic oversight, the piece I was actually doing anyway. This would be a separate contract, I explain. Directly with Quantum Tech, TechBridge gets their software deal, but you get the guidance and partnership you actually signed up for. Kenji is silent for a long moment. And the pricing? My heart pounds. My consulting contract would be $50 million over 5 years. That's 10% of the total value, which is standard for strategic advisory at this scale. And TechBridge's portion would drop to $450 million, adjusted for the services they're actually providing without my involvement. Another silence. Then Kenji speaks, and I hear the smile in his voice. James, I need to discuss this with my board. But I think you just solved our problem. Stand by. We hang up. I sit frozen in my chair. Did I just turn my firing into a $50 million consulting contract? 2 hours later, my phone rings. It's Robert Chin, and he sounds furious. What the hell did you do? He shouts. I put him on speaker, keeping my voice calm. I'm not sure what you mean, Robert. Quantum Tech just called. They're pulling out of the deal unless we agree to bring you back as a consultant. They want to restructure the entire contract. I'm no longer your employee. You made that clear. You sabotaged us. You poisoned the client relationship. I laugh, but there's no humor in it. I built that relationship over 2 years while you took credit. Kenji Yamamoto called me because he's smart enough to know you can't deliver what I promised. That's not sabotage, that's consequences. I'll sue you, Robert threatens. Non-compete violation. Corporate espionage. I'll bury you. Call your lawyer first, I suggest. Ask them about firing someone before a major deal closes, then being surprised when the client has concerns. Ask them about non-solicitation when the client approaches the consultant independently. And Robert, ask them what happens when this goes to court and discovery reveals you fired me specifically to steal credit for my work. Silence. Then he hangs up. Sarah, who's been listening, looks at me with wide eyes. Is he really going to sue? Probably. But Michael says we're clean. My phone buzzes. A text from Kenji. Board approved. Contract being drafted. Welcome to the partnership, James. I show Sarah the message. She reads it, then hugs me tight. You did it, she whispers. Not yet. But we're close. The next morning, TechBridge's lawyers send a cease and desist letter. It's full of legal threats but light on actual grounds. Michael reads it and laughs. They're desperate, he says. This is intimidation, nothing more. They know they messed up. What do? We respond politely, laying out exactly how you're in full compliance with your non-compete. And we wait for them to make the next move. That afternoon, I get a call from Derek Martinez. His voice is nervous, almost apologetic. James, look, I didn't ask for this. Robert put me in an impossible position. I know, I say, and I mean it. Derek's not the villain here. Quantum Tech won't talk to me. Every call goes to voicemail. I'm supposed to close a $500 million deal in 2 days, and the client won't return my emails. What do you want from me, Derek? He sighs. Robert wants me to tell you that if you walk away from Quantum Tech, he'll give you a severance package. 6 months pay plus benefits. I laugh out loud. He fired me yesterday and now wants to pay me to disappear? Tell Robert that Quantum Tech offered me a $50 million consulting contract. His 6-month severance doesn't even cover my first quarterly payment. Derek is quiet. Jesus. $50 million. Built on 2 years of work he tried to steal. Tell him I said no. After we hang up, I sit back thinking. Robert's panicking. Good. 2 days later, the original deal deadline arrives. TechBridge's contract with Quantum Tech expires unsigned. According to Michael, this means Quantum Tech is free to negotiate new terms without penalty. Which they do. With me. Kenji sends the consulting contract that afternoon. It's comprehensive, fair, and incredibly generous. $50 million over 5 years, with clear deliverables around implementation oversight, strategic guidance, and partnership development. I sign it. Sarah witnesses it. We submit it electronically. 12 hours later, Quantum Tech announces a modified partnership with TechBridge. A $450 million deal instead of $500 million, with implementation managed by Atlas Strategic Partners. My phone explodes with messages. Former colleagues congratulating me, asking how I did it, wanting to know if I'm hiring. One message stands out. It's from Robert. You'll regret this. I delete it without responding. That night, Sarah and I open a bottle of champagne. Not to celebrate revenge, but to celebrate something bigger, freedom. You did the impossible, she says, raising her glass. I shake my head. I did what I always do. I built relationships. I delivered value. The only difference is now I own the results. We clink glasses. The champagne tastes like vindication. The next few weeks are chaos. TechBridge is hemorrhaging employees. 3 senior people reach out asking if Atlas is hiring. I bring on 2 of them, people I trust, who were also tired of Robert's toxic leadership. We set up a proper office, hire an assistant, and build out the infrastructure for a real consulting firm. The Quantum Tech contract is our anchor, but I'm already fielding calls from other companies interested in our services. Meanwhile, Robert is spiraling. According to my former colleagues still at TechBridge, he's blaming everyone but himself. He fired 2 people for not supporting the quantum deal properly. He's micromanaging everything, creating more chaos. One morning, I get an unexpected call from Patricia Okafor, a board member at TechBridge. We've met a few times at company events. James, I need to speak with you confidentially, she says. Of course. The board is concerned about Robert's leadership. The Quantum Tech situation was badly mishandled. We're conducting a review. I choose my words carefully. I'm not interested in causing problems for TechBridge. I'm not asking you to. I'm asking for the truth. What happened? I tell her everything. The 2-year relationship building. Robert taking credit. Derek being inserted at the last minute. The firing 3 days before closing. Patricia listens quietly. And Quantum Tech approached you afterward? Yes. I didn't solicit them. They called me. I believe you, she says softly. Thank you for your honesty. After we hang up, I wonder what happens next. 3 weeks after my firing, TechBridge announces organizational restructuring. Robert Chun is stepping down to pursue other opportunities. Derek Martinez is promoted to his position. I receive a call from Derek that same day. I didn't want it like this, he says quietly. I know. Congratulations anyway. The board asked me to reach out. They want to repair the relationship with Quantum Tech. And with you. I lean back in my chair. What are you proposing? A partnership. Official. TechBridge and Atlas working together on the quantum implementation. We handle the software and infrastructure. You handle the strategic oversight and relationship management. Clean split of responsibilities. I already have a contract with Quantum. I know. We're not trying to change that. We want to make sure TechBridge delivers its part professionally. Having you as a liaison would help both sides. I think about it. Send me a proposal. 2 days later, I have a formal partnership agreement from TechBridge. It's respectful, clearly defined, and includes a public acknowledgement of my role in developing the quantum tech relationship. I sign it, not because I need them, but because it's the right thing for the client. Kenji calls me that evening. I heard about the TechBridge partnership. Smart move. It makes the implementation smoother. It also shows character, Kenji says. You could have burned bridges. Instead, you built new ones. That comment stays with me. Because he's right, I could have been vindictive. But that's not who I want to be. 6 months later, Atlas Strategic Partners has grown beyond my wildest projections. We have 4 major clients, 12 employees, and annual revenue projecting at $75 million. The quantum tech implementation is going smoothly. TechBridge, under Derek's leadership, is actually pleasant to work with. They deliver quality work on time, and Derek keeps communication clear. I'm in Tokyo for a quarterly review meeting when Kenji pulls me aside. James, I want to introduce you to some people. He leads me to a private dining room where 3 Japanese executives are waiting. Kenji makes introductions. They're CEOs of companies in Quantum Tech's network. We've been discussing your approach, one of them says through a translator. We're interested in similar partnerships. By the end of dinner, I have preliminary agreements for consulting contracts with 2 more major Japanese firms. Combined value, $80 million over 3 years. On the flight home, I stare out the window, barely believing this is my life now. A year ago, I was a VP working 80-hour weeks for someone else's credit. Now I own a thriving consulting firm built on relationships, integrity, and expertise. Robert Chin fired me thinking he'd eliminate competition and steal my work. Instead, he freed me to build something bigger than he ever imagined. I'm having lunch with Michael Torres, my attorney, when he brings up something I've been avoiding. Have you thought about what you want long-term? He asks. What do you mean? Atlas is growing fast. You could scale this into something massive. But you could also keep it boutique, focused on high-value partnerships. What do you actually want? I sit with that question. A year ago, the answer would have been simple. Climb the corporate ladder, make VP, maybe eventually C-suite. But now, I want to build something meaningful, I say slowly. Not just profitable, but something that actually helps companies succeed. I spent years at TechBridge feeling like a cog in a machine. With Atlas, every client relationship feels personal. Important. Michael smiles. Then you've already found it. Found what? What Robert accidentally gave you by firing you. Purpose. The word hits me hard. Purpose. Not just success, not just money, but actual purpose. That night, I'm working late when I get an email from someone I don't recognize. Jennifer Reeves, CEO of Meridian Solutions, a mid-sized tech company. Her message is direct. I heard what happened at TechBridge. I'm in a similar situation with a major deal that needs experienced guidance. Would you be interested in discussing a consulting engagement? I reply immediately. We schedule a call for the next morning. As I close my laptop, I realize something. I'm not just recovering from being fired. I'm thriving because of it. The call with Jennifer Reeves changes everything. Her company is negotiating a complex merger, and she needs someone who understands international partnerships and strategic integration. I've heard you're the best at building relationships that last, she says. I try to be. We negotiate a 6-month consulting contract worth $15 million. But more importantly, Jennifer introduces me to her network, other CEOs facing similar challenges. Within 2 months, Atlas has 7 major clients. We're turning away work because we can't scale fast enough. I hire carefully, bringing on experienced consultants who share my values. Integrity, client focus, relationship building over quick wins. One afternoon, I get a call from Patricia Okafor, the TechBridge board member. James, I wanted you to know, TechBridge is doing much better under Derek's leadership. Revenue is up, employee satisfaction is improving, and we've closed 3 major deals this quarter. That's great to hear. I also wanted to apologize. The board should have intervened sooner with Robert. We let his ego damage good people, including you. I'm quiet for a moment. I appreciate that, Patricia. Truly. One more thing. We're looking to bring on a strategic advisor to the board. Someone with your expertise. Would you be interested? I'm stunned. TechBridge wants me on their board? Let me think about it, I say. After we hang up, I sit in silence. A year ago, Robert fired me from this company. Now they want me advising their board. Life is strange. I accept the board advisor position. Not for revenge, not to gloat, but because I genuinely believe I can help TechBridge succeed under better leadership. My first board meeting is surreal. I'm sitting at the same conference table where Robert once fired me, but now I'm helping shape company strategy. Derek handles it with grace. "It's good to have you back," he says simply. "Over the next 6 months, I help TechBridge restructure their partnership approach, implement better project management systems, and develop a healthier company culture. Employee turnover drops. Client satisfaction rises. Revenue grows." One evening, Derek and I are having dinner after a board meeting. "Can I ask you something?" he says. "Of course. Do you hate Robert? For what he did?" I think about it carefully. No, I did at first. But now I just feel sorry for him. He had everything: talented employees, major deals, respect, and he destroyed it all because of ego. Do you know what he's doing now? I shake my head. I've deliberately avoided following Robert's career. He's working as an independent consultant, struggling to find clients. His reputation in the industry is damaged. I feel a pang of sympathy. That's hard. Do you ever think about reaching out? Offering advice? The question surprises me. Why would I? Because you're better than he was. And because I've watched you help everyone else. Maybe he needs help too. I sit with that thought long after dinner ends. 2 years after my firing, Atlas Strategic Partners is generating $200 million in annual revenue. We have 30 employees, offices in 3 cities, and a client roster that reads like a who's who of international business. I'm working from home one morning when I get an unexpected email. The sender, Robert Chin. My finger hovers over the delete button. Then curiosity wins. "James, I know I have no right to contact you, but I need to say something. I was wrong. About everything. I let ego and fear drive me to make terrible decisions. Firing you was the biggest mistake of my career. Not because of the financial consequences, but because I destroyed something good out of spite. I'm not asking for forgiveness or help. I just wanted you to know that I understand now what I couldn't see then. You were always the better leader. I'm sorry." I read it 3 times. There's no manipulation, no hidden agenda. Just a broken man acknowledging his failures. Sarah reads it over my shoulder. "What are you going to do?" "I don't know." That night, I draft a response. I delete it. I draft another. Delete again. Finally, I write something simple. "Robert, I appreciate your honesty. I hope you find peace with your choices. If you ever need advice about rebuilding a consulting practice, I'm willing to talk. James." I hit send before I can overthink it. 3 days later, Robert calls. His voice is quiet, humble. "James, thank you for responding. I didn't expect you to. Everyone deserves a second chance," I say simply. "I don't deserve yours. Maybe not, but I'm offering it anyway." Over the next few months, I occasionally advise Robert on rebuilding his consulting career. Not because I owe him anything, but because I've learned something important. Success isn't about crushing your enemies. It's about building something so strong that enemies become irrelevant. Robert follows my advice. He starts small, focuses on integrity, stops trying to take shortcuts. Slowly, his reputation begins to recover. Meanwhile, Atlas continues growing. We expand into Europe, then South America. Each new market brings new challenges and opportunities. One afternoon, Kenji calls with exciting news. "James, Quantum Tech is planning a major expansion into AI integration. We'd like Atlas to lead the consulting work. 3-year contract, $200 million. I'm speechless. "Kenji, that's incredible. You earned it. Every promise you made, you kept. Every challenge we faced, you helped us solve. This is just us returning the loyalty." After we hang up, I sit quietly in my office. I think about the journey from that humiliating firing to this moment. Robert tried to steal my deal and ended up losing everything. I built something real and gained more than I ever imagined. The difference? I focused on relationships, integrity, and delivering actual value. That night, I'm telling Sarah about the new Quantum Tech contract when she asks, "Are you happy?" I think about it. Yes, but not because of the money or the success. Then why? Because I'm doing work that matters. With people I respect. On my own terms. She smiles. That's what getting fired gave you. Freedom to build the career you actually wanted. She's right. Robert's cruelty was actually a gift, just not the way he intended. 3 years after my firing, I'm invited to speak at a major business conference about building sustainable partnerships. The irony isn't lost on me. I'm now considered an expert in the field Robert once claimed I was too inexperienced to handle. In the audience, I spot Patricia Okafor and Derek Martinez from TechBridge. After my talk, they approach with someone else, a younger woman I don't recognize. "James, this is Amanda Chun," Patricia says. She's Robert's daughter. She just graduated with an MBA and is looking for mentorship. I shake Amanda's hand, seeing her father's features in her face, but something different in her eyes. Humility, eagerness, none of Robert's arrogance. "I've been following your career," Amanda says. "My dad told me what happened. What he did. I'm sorry. You're not responsible for your father's choices." "I know, but I learned from them. I want to build a career like yours, based on integrity and real relationships. Would you consider mentoring me?" I glance at Patricia, who nods encouragingly. "Yes," I say. "I'd be honored." Over the next year, Amanda becomes one of my most dedicated ments. She works hard, asks smart questions, and treats every relationship with care. She's everything her father wasn't. Robert calls me one day, voice thick with emotion. "Thank you for giving Amanda a chance. She talks about you constantly. She's talented. She earned the opportunity. James, I need you to know something. Watching you succeed while I failed taught me more than any business school could have. You showed me what real leadership looks like." I'm quiet for a moment. "Robert, I didn't succeed to teach you a lesson. I succeeded because I finally got to do things my way." "I know. That's exactly what makes it so powerful." Atlas Strategic Partners celebrates its 5th anniversary with over $500 million in annual revenue, offices in 8 countries, and a team of over 100 consultants. But the numbers aren't what makes me proudest. What matters is the culture we've built. One where people feel valued, where integrity isn't just a buzzword, where success is measured not just in profit, but in the positive impact we have on clients. I'm in a leadership meeting when my COO, Sarah Chun, no relation to Robert, shares something surprising. "James, we've been approached by 3 major consulting firms wanting to acquire us. The largest offer is $2.5 billion. The room goes silent. Everyone looks at me. "What do you think?" I ask the team. Opinions vary. Some see it as a natural exit. Others want to keep building independently. That night, I discuss it with my wife, Sarah. "Do you want to sell?" she asks. Part of me does. It would be life-changing money. But another part knows that the moment we sell, we lose control of the culture, the mission, the whole reason Atlas exists. So what's your answer? I think about Robert, about how he built a company but destroyed its soul through ego and greed. I think about the second chance I got to build something meaningful. I want to keep building, I say. Not forever, necessarily. But not yet. We have more impact to make. The next day, I decline all 3 acquisition offers. The team cheers when I announce the decision. 6 years after my firing, I'm invited to give a keynote at the same industry conference where TechBridge once showcased the quantum tech deal, with my name conspicuously absent from all materials. This time, I'm the featured speaker. The topic: building success on your own terms. I stand on stage, looking out at hundreds of faces. I see former colleagues, clients, competitors. I see Derek and Patricia from TechBridge. I see Robert in the back row, sitting quietly. I tell the story honestly, the firing, the pain, the uncertainty, but also the opportunity it created. Success isn't about getting revenge on people who wrong you, I say. It's about building something so meaningful that those wrongs become irrelevant. When Robert fired me, he thought he was ending my career. Instead, he freed me to build the career I actually wanted. I pause, letting that sink in. The greatest gift you can give yourself is the courage to bet on your own value. Not arrogance, confidence backed by competence. When you build real relationships, deliver actual results, and treat people with integrity, opportunities follow. After my talk, dozens of people approach with questions, opportunities, requests for advice. Robert waits until everyone else leaves. "That was powerful," he says quietly. "Thank you for coming. I'm proud of you, James. I know I have no right to be, but I am." We shake hands. It's not forgiveness, exactly, but it's peace. 7 years after my firing, Amanda Chun joins Atlas as a junior consultant. She's completed her mentorship and proven herself ready. On her first day, I give her the same advice I wish someone had given me years ago. Your value isn't determined by your title or your boss's opinion. It's determined by the quality of your work and the strength of your relationships. Never let anyone make you believe otherwise. She nods seriously. My dad told me you said something similar to him once. It changed his perspective. How is Robert doing? Better. His consulting practice is small, but he's happy. He says he finally understands that success isn't about being the biggest or most powerful. It's about being respected for the right reasons. I smile. He learned that lesson the hard way. We all do, Amanda says wisely. That afternoon, I get an email from Kenji Yamamoto. He's retiring from Quantum Tech and wants to have a final meeting before he steps down. We meet in Tokyo, at the same restaurant where we first discussed the partnership 8 years ago. James, I wanted to thank you personally, Kenji says. Our partnership with Atlas transformed Quantum Tech. But more than that, your approach to business taught us valuable lessons about integrity and long-term thinking. The feeling is mutual. You trusted me when no one else would. I trusted you because I saw something rare, someone who cared more about doing the right thing than about winning. We raise our glasses. To partnerships that last, I say. And to second chances, Kenji adds. 8 years after my firing, Atlas Strategic Partners is valued at over $4 billion. We've helped hundreds of companies navigate complex partnerships, mergers, and international expansions. But the real measure of our success isn't financial. It's the culture we've maintained, one where people thrive, where integrity matters, where success is shared. I'm working in my office when Derek Martinez calls. James, I wanted to let you know. I'm stepping down as CEO of TechBridge. I've accepted a position as Chief Strategy Officer at a startup. Congratulations. That's exciting. The board asked me who should replace me. I gave them one name, yours. I'm stunned. Derek, I can't. Atlas is my focus. I know. But I wanted you to know, the company you once worked for recognizes what you built. You're always welcome back, in any capacity you choose. After we hang up, I sit in silence. The company that fired me wants me as CEO. A decade ago, that would have been my ultimate goal. Now, it feels like going backward. I decline the offer but recommend Amanda Chun for a senior strategy role at TechBridge. They hire her within a week. Full circle, Robert's daughter succeeds at the company where Robert once ruled, mentored by the man he tried to destroy. Life has a sense of humor. 9 years after my firing, I'm invited to write a book about building successful partnerships. The publisher wants me to tell the full story, including what happened at TechBridge. I'm hesitant. Not because I'm afraid of telling the truth, but because I've moved past needing to rehash old wounds. But my editor makes a good point. Your story isn't about revenge. It's about resilience. About turning professional devastation into purpose. People need that message. I agree to write it. The book, titled Built on Trust, Creating Partnerships That Last, becomes a business bestseller. I don't trash Robert in its pages. Instead, I focus on lessons learned, about building real value, maintaining integrity under pressure, and having the courage to bet on yourself. Robert reaches out after reading it. Thank you for being gracious. You could have destroyed me in print. You chose not to. Destroying you wouldn't have served any purpose. Teaching others might. The book launches a new phase of my career. Speaking engagements, advisory boards, teaching at business schools. Atlas continues thriving under strong leadership. I've stepped back to focus on the work I find most meaningful, mentoring the next generation of business leaders. Amanda Chun is now one of my success stories. Promoted to VP at TechBridge at just 32 years old. When reporters ask about my journey from fired employee to industry leader, I always give the same answer. Getting fired was the best thing that ever happened to me. It forced me to build the career I actually wanted, not the one I thought I was supposed to want. 10 years after my firing, I'm sitting in the same office where Robert once told me I was being let go. But now it's my office, part of Atlas's headquarters. I've invited Robert for coffee. He looks healthier, happier than I've seen him in years. I'm retiring, he tells me. For real this time. Amanda's doing incredibly well. I'm finally ready to let go. What will you do? Travel with my wife. Volunteer. Maybe mentor a few young consultants who need guidance. Nothing grand. Just life. We sit in comfortable silence for a moment. James, can I ask you something? Of course. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if I hadn't fired you? If I'd just been a better boss? I think about it honestly. Sometimes. But I don't dwell on it. Because the truth is, working for you taught me exactly what kind of leader I didn't want to be. And that lesson was invaluable. Robert nods slowly. I spent years thinking success meant being the most powerful person in the room. You taught me it actually means being the most trustworthy. We shake hands at the door. Good luck with retirement, Robert. Good luck with everything, James. You've built something remarkable. After he leaves, I stand at the window looking out at the city. 10 years ago, I was fired from a company that didn't value me. Today, I run a company that values everyone. The journey wasn't easy, but it was worth it. I'm standing on stage at a business school graduation, giving the commencement address. In the audience, I see Sarah, our 2 kids, my Atlas team, and even Robert with his family. 10 years ago, I tell the graduates, I was fired 3 days before closing the biggest deal of my career. My boss thought he was ending my story. Instead, he gave me the chance to write a new one. I pause, looking at the young faces full of hope and fear. Many of you will face moments when people doubt you, dismiss you, or try to take credit for your work. Those moments will hurt. But they're also opportunities, chances to prove to yourself what you're truly capable of. I share the lessons I've learned, build real relationships, deliver genuine value, maintain integrity even when it costs you. Bet on yourself when no one else will. Success isn't about climbing someone else's ladder, I continue. It's about building your own. And sometimes, the greatest gift life gives you is the push off a ladder you were never meant to climb in the first place. The applause is overwhelming. Afterward, dozens of graduates approach with questions, dreams, fears. One young woman asks, "What if I fail?" I smile, remembering that terrified drive home after being fired. Then you'll learn something valuable. Every failure is just information. Use it. That night, Sarah and I are having dinner when she asks, "Any regrets?" I think about the journey, the pain, the uncertainty, the risk. I think about what I've built. A company I'm proud of, relationships that matter, a life with purpose. None, I say honestly. Not one. She raises her glass. To getting fired. I laugh, clinking my glass against hers. To getting fired, and discovering what comes next. Because that's the truth Robert never understood. He didn't fire me from my career. He fired me into it. And I've never been more grateful.